In a world where progress never sleeps, one company stands out as the driving force behind infrastructure and energy solutions. Introducing our fuel company and cement producer, where excellence meets efficiency. Jar Oil. The company have 30 filling stations across the country that are all operating, which includes the recently completed Yarambamba and Old Yundum filling stations. And our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Along the years, Jar Oil introduces importation and distribution of cement in their line of business to diversify and strengthen their operations. Are you a cement retailer? At the moment, Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market. With a focus on sustainability and innovation, we are paving the way for a greener, stronger future. Trust in us to fuel your projects and lay the groundwork for success. We currently produce over 25,200,000 bags per year. As the largest cement producer in the country, Jar Oil also targets to export cement to the neighboring countries like Guinea-Bissau, Guinea-Conakry, and others. Join us on our journey to shape a world where every drop of fuel and every bag of cement makes a difference. Together, we can build a brighter tomorrow.
You want to make a comparison between Jammeh, Jawara, and Barrow as we go into 60 years of, do we call it what, full independence or only political independence?
Actually, I thank our forefathers for standing firm against neo-colonialism. You know, the Western conspirator, the Baphomet groups that had already eat our people. If you look at Europe, European countries, most of those European countries are built by Africans in terms of slavery, abnormalities, taking our people, able men, from our source to their areas. And this is why they were also used to work on their farms. The development of Europe, it was not left against Africans. We've contributed a lot. That's why I do always say they owe us apology, returns, and also apologize what they have did to African people. So this was why the like of Edo Francis Small and also Jawara, Sadauda Kareba Jawara stood up to salvage us and own ourselves in 1965. So this is also a plus for Jawara and his people and our forefather that who had stood very firm. The idea was to see that an African belongs to Africans, and the rule that we could distinguish between the protectorate and also the provincial Gambia could be a thing of the past, where elites of the colonial hegemony were the people who were schooled. You look at the provincial Gambia, little do they know. Or others, they'll even say, okay, you have to be this in order for you to give you this. Or you have to accept our way of ruling in order for us to take ownership of this. So these were things that they have came to see it, that we are stronger enough. And now, Jawara, when he came, with the left of the British, hospitals were available, you know. RVTH was around.
Actually, it was
yes?
RVH, only RVH.
RVH.
Royal Victoria Hospital.
Exactly. So you talk of the Ahmadiyya Hospital and also Bansang. You know, these were the only hospitals that were in place. And talk of schools, missionaries had got the center stage of schooling. Even us in Fonyi, they did extremely well. And I can
Which
say,
of the schools in Fonyi did?
You know, St. Edward, St. Antoni's. Okay. You also have what we call the school in Sintet. And you also have Kaimo. They're all anchored with missionaries activities by then. Now you realize that there was no government-built high school. Government-built high school. I may be corrected. That was anchoredly built by Jawara and said, this is Jawara's making. It was a challenge. But now when the wave of change happens in 1994...
Muslim high school. I want to believe Muslim high school was government-sponsored, wasn't it? I stand to be corrected.
I am not sure about that. I'm not sure about that. So when the wave of change occurs, you see a blown of change in terms of education status quo. Gambians were owning themselves. We could see that even if the time when issues were done, university was just saying Jangi Jolof. It was difficult for people to trust the University of the Gambia. But with the visionary leadership of Jammeh and his elites, university is taking a center stage. Some of our elites who came to the University of the Gambia, today some of them are professors in other universities. Others are also studying medicine. The wave of home-trained doctors was a center stage in Jammeh's region. 8 years, he was able to work with a television, where you could say, before you only watch Senegal TV.
Yeah.
Radios were also doing broadcasting. The like of Basse and others. These were issues that were going. And again, also,
but Basse was there since.
But if you look at the upgrading,
since Jawara's time, don't give the credit to.
No, if you look at the
Jammeh.
upgrading syndrome, these were issues that had happened. And again, you look at hospitals. Farafenye was another blooming end. You talk of out of Suleiman Junkun Jammeh Hospital. And when they came, they changed the name and said, okay, Biam General Hospital. You can change the name, but you cannot change the effect, the footprint of somebody who architect something that is, quite okay. Look at the like of Brikama has been upgraded. Basse, you moved to Bansang, also upgraded. Basse itself again. Now, if you look at the whole scenario today, one of the maternal hospital that is reckoned with, Jammeh Foundation, and now they change Bundung Kakunda Hospital.
Just Bundung, not the Kakunda is not part of it.
So
just Bundung Maternity and Child Health Hospital.
So now, anything that they came up, they want to erase and said, okay, move away. And now I can tell you, hospital, Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital, thanks to the attitude of Jammeh to realize that we need our heroes to give them titles, not only and recognition of their effort in the struggle of independence. RVTH was second to none. Screen machines, whatever you talk of, is available. And Jammeh pops in, pops out to make sure whatever he's spending is put in the right place. You dare not to go and mess up issues.
Okay.
So these are all issues that we've seen. And again, also education, was free. Gambia Kuala, you don't pay. Universities and also other tertiary institutions. Basic secondary education was also barely free. Yeah. So, but now, cost is taking the center stage.
And that's impossible because, thanks to, maybe the salaries some of you are claiming now in the National Assembly. If all the money is going to you and the executive and now the judiciary also wants a fat salary, where will we have extra money, to put in other sectors when we don't produce anything to sell outside?
No, the actual deal, it's not about only National Assembly. It's about the whole attitude of government.
I said the executive as well.
For example,
and
now,
very soon the judiciary.
No, I know. What I'm just saying here is this. If you look at the key aspects of the whole thing, you realize that before, you will also look at the cost of living. What they were earning.
But do you accept that your salaries and allowances and wages and what have you are also putting pressure on the budget?
No, that one is across. It's across. Now look at the increment that they're doing to the civil service. Not only National Assembly members. Here is about
not only
but
National definitely Assembly National Assembly members part of the problem.
No, this is a global thing. For example, for us, I can tell you when we came, we found that increment there. People sometimes they misquote happenings.
You could have said no, we don't want this.
It's approved already. It's approved. It's just like, for example, when we said okay, salaries of ministers, that is approved. How to call it? Earnings are never retroactive. You don't go and say that, okay, let me rewind, you've do this, whatever. It's only a dictatorial, for example, soldiers, or, when they do a takeover and say, okay, we are pegging this amount. But a democratic dispensation of people who have already earned what they have earned already, you come and say, okay,
was it dictatorial of Jammeh when he intervened in the past, to set the price of the dollar at a certain level?
No, that was a visionary leadership style.
Oh, really?
As a leader, I'm telling you.
So when it's done by Jammeh, it's visionary?
No, what I'm just saying here, the thing that he was doing is in line with the principles of fair play of economic. Because the reason why, you cannot come and think, do whatever you like, as if this is just like a bonus country. It has no leadership. It has no people who care, whatever. I'm telling you, in Jammeh's time, you are there not mad to go into rental of a dollar accommodation in the country. For example, he said, okay, this shop in Westfield.
Oh, no, it was happening.
Huh?
It was happening.
But it was very minimal.
Along Kairaba Avenue?
You don't talk about that.
It started actually when he was president.
No, but the problem is, when Jammeh was around, you dare not to go and claim and say this. If you're caught, you'll be dealt with. That was eminent. But now, it's a free zone. They'll tell you, if you don't want, either you pay in CFA or you pay in dollars. If you don't want, you leave it. It's just like a free zone that you can do whatever you like. Peter, most of the issues, I know there's no leadership in this country that will not have bought in issues of your governance. But most of the cases in the Gambian hegemony, people forget about the good thing that Jammeh does for this country, whereby they will only be painting Jammeh this, whatever. In terms of education, Jammeh did extremely well, both Jawara and Barrow. In terms of taking ownership of this country, security-wise, Jammeh do better.
Okay.
So these are all issues that I think. In terms of health, how many doctors and nurses who are trained? A lot of them have even left this country. Sometimes you can even go from abroad and come back. There was a time when Jammeh sent some of these doctors, they go for studies. When they came back, they had to leave genuinely because the environment was not there for them. So these are all issues that
we have to be going now. Let's do a few text messages. Muslim High School was built by Dr. Malik Samba and co. Good morning, Peter. The money that Jammeh embezzled, a quarter of that amount is not even been spent yet by the Barrow government. Gambians started buying rice at $1,000 plus during the Jammeh era. Almami is a partisan politician. Don't take him seriously. And this is coming from Keba Jammeh in Kololi.
Actually, Keba need to be schooled very well.
In what?
In terms of partisanship, I see the country first. Because any issue that doesn't normalize the wish and aspiration of the Gambian people, I'm not a part to it. So maybe Keba is blindly only listening to West Coast radio alone. But if I wish he's a Gambian and follow the proceedings of the National Assembly and my issues that I work towards, I think Keba will know that it is not only sitting in your house and texting, but I think the ownership is vested into what you think. What he's saying about Jammeh's time, he said 1,000 plus. It was never. 950, 850, you can even get a bag of rice. You don't look at the highest aspect, for example, Saddam and others. You look at the lower thing first. And the other thing that he's also saying here is, when you talk about issues of seriousness in terms of governance, whatever you portray should be at the wish and aspiration of your Gambian people.
Okay. All right. Let me take more contributions. No bread in Bundung too. My old grannies are all crying today that it was the worst mistake voting for President Barrow. And mind you, Uncle Peter, I gave them a stern warning against voting for such a party. Uncle Peter, we want the MPs to know that as a credible parliamentarian, these three things are fundamental. 1, your conscience to yourself. 2, your conscience to the state. And 3, your conscience to your party. Number 3 comes third for a reason. I want to be sure if this is true. I overheard a military personnel saying President only visited 1 barracks in 8 years.
Peter, what he's saying is true.
Which is a point you've been saying that the president
consent is quite very important. Whatever you're doing now, you have to get to understand. What I do tell people.
How much are you guided by your conscience when you make decisions in the national?
No, for me, I can even say my conscience supersedes all the percentages in terms of
even when you were pursuing the FGM
full
issue.
Time, because I saw that this is something that I think,
because people think you are mistaken to want to decriminalize FGM in this country,
not a mistake,
or female circumcision,
because I'm just trying to wipe the tears of Gambian people irrespective of tradition and religious aspects.
Wipe the tears or add to the tears?
No,
of
we
Gambian
wipe
people?
the tears.
Oh, okay.
The FGM pro are just misquoting issues. I can tell you, if you meet them and now take for example, he said, okay, Uncle Peter, are you circumcised? He said, yes.
Well, I am. I can say
no, that's what I'm saying. No, I mean for a female, for example.
Oh, I see. Okay.
If you said, Fatima, are you circumcised? Fatima would say yes. But are you mutilated? He said, no, don't tell me that word. You see? So the notion that this Western conspiracy, the government groups, that are just here to distort our progeny and our history, we would not be part and parcel with them. And the general notion that I'm also telling you is, our independence is a big question, Peter. When the national army, a presidency at the top, he has been guarded, protected.
We have to be out in 3 minutes.
Protected by foreign occupancy. And now, all those foreign occupancy does a lot. And those foreign occupancy are from a country. This is one of the biggest security threats that President Barrow don't even understand, and his supporters in the terms of security apparatus. Whatever they're doing, you don't have an aide that is a Senegalese controlling your belt, all is Senegalese. They will communicate to Senegal. Your security is a loop. And now sometimes, what I do also said, when you see them within the president motorcade, and even where Barrow is talking, you see them laughing. You see them laughing. That notion of taking ownership is a challenge. Now, all these are issues that I think the general notion is any head of state, that is the commander-in-chief of the Gambia Armed Forces, will not know and see the trials of this armed men because he never visited the area. So I think Barrow should wake up and understand not only sitting in Banjul is presidency, but visiting barracks and security force institutions to make sure he feels what they're seeing in terms of food, accommodation, and other issues. And the other thing that I also want to conclude in that area is now we've approved TACOS, Terms and Conditions of Services.
Yes.
But the way it's implemented is a big challenge. People in the provincials are at a disadvantage. Now they said, we will cut your rental allowance. When they don't even have a house to rent, 4 to 3 soldiers will now be staying in one house.
Okay, that's, that needs to be looked at. Lamin Sanchaba has bread, says the architect, and Brufut Santosu also has bread. I want to end with this WhatsApp message. Good morning, Uncle Peter. President Jammeh is the worst president ever in this continent, but this MP always supports Jammeh despite all the wrongs that he has done. Can you defend your support of Jammeh?
You know, I think he is terrified currently where he's staying at his home. He's not even comfortable. Maybe killed or be robbed or done a lot of things.
Well, he hasn't told us that.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Or she hasn't told us that.
No, what I'm just saying, I'm putting this notion to every Gambian. No Gambia is safe in our current status of security. In Jammeh,
I feel safe. That's why I'm staying at London Corner.
No, that's what I'm saying is, London Corner, you even close your doors. All gangs are be falling thanks to the works of the police that they're doing. In Jammeh's time, it's a no-go area.
Even the president, I'm sure, shuts his doors at certain
No,
time.
the president for him said he's safe. When the Gambian people have been faced with burglaries, robbery, attacking banks, bureaus, tell the man that in Jammeh's time, those were history. In Jammeh's time, education was free for him. University was apparently...
He's talking about security.
No, that's what I'm saying.
And,
that's what I'm saying. I'm just trying to say the reason why I defend Jammeh. And in Jammeh's time, Jammeh take this country at his heart. Visit institutions, put them a test. He doesn't even sit in offices as a president. He makes sure he is at the top of things in this country. And the other part is, whenever he goes outside Gambia, he shows whatever he sees there. Jammeh will intend to bring it back.
And absolutely, finally.
And secondly, also, in this country, the African Union Summit that Jammeh had did here.
2006.
2006.
Yes. I remember that very well.
It was a changing moment. The coastal roads and the flip-flop area that we are seeing, development arena. If it was done by the OIC, it could have been a different year. And I can tell you for free, Peter, if the government is ready, accountability and transparency, for them to come out and tell us what they spend in this OIC, you and me and others, we will not sit in offices.
You can force them.
No, we are putting to them, but it seems blockages, whatever, they are not even ready to talk. But I think now, people need to understand. If we say the worst, he's just over-exaggerating. Hate of a person.
His human rights record is nothing to write home about.
That's what I'm saying. That human rights records, you want Kupis to come and kill you? Is human rights records? Kupis are reinstated in the army, human rights records. Kupis are given a highest job as chief investigator in this country. This is human rights records. Okay. Kupis are also reinstated in the army. Whatever jail that you have served, you are paid back. Efficient soldiers who have served the integrity of this army are relinquished from power. Because of what? You are from this tribe. You are from this.
Absolute last issue. Some people are saying Jammeh is out of his mind on the basis of the audio he released the last time. What do you make of that audio?
The problem is Jammeh has his own right to speak and address his own people. And again, to talk about any issue in this country. Peter, let me just give you a snapshot.
Very quickly. I have just 1 minute. I've already
So the problem now is, you took Jammeh's asset and sold it. Some of the people, currently, the beds that they are sleeping are Jammeh's asset. The chairs that they're sleeping in Jammeh's asset. The cows are Jammeh's asset. Anything about Jammeh, looting its resources, is welcome.
They're saying he looted the country's resources.
But now, if you loot, you loot. Who are the looters also?
The looted.
So these are issues that we are saying. And the general aspect is, when Jammeh spoke They said, we want to bring Jammeh to justice. Jammeh said he is ready to come. People are saying, no, it's not good. Let him not come, whatever. Why the fear? You know the problem I tell people, lastly, if you want to discredit the relevancy of Jammeh, walk. Barrow, let him walk. If he walk, Jammeh will not be relevant.
Barrow is working.
But now,
he's building roads. You just said that he's concentrating too much on roads.
No, that's what I'm saying. Those roads will not benefit. This is not only about roads. It's about, one, the security aspect. Two, what do we need to
He has economic.
Which economic? So he will now be saying for 10 good years economic. It's a blow to our face. It's irrelevant. And now it's uncalled for a country that is going to celebrate independence tomorrow. I will be going to the National Square. I will be going as a citizen, a parliamentarian, and a representative of the Gambian people. But I will feel very sorry.
Oh dear.
Joining a celebration when food commodities are rising. Joining a celebration where price of are skyrocketing. Joining a celebration where in the midst we'll have foreign forces that will welcome Barrow. Sit here, don't sit here. Talk here, don't talk here. Joining a celebration where my mother, my sister, cousin and aunts are sitting bare floor in hospitals. Joining a celebration where our soldiers are not discomfort, they are not comfortable in staying in the barracks. Joining a celebration where young ones are queuing, crying for help in terms of employment. Joining a celebration where thousands and thousands of Gambian youths are dying in the Mediterranean Sea. Joining a celebration where rice is not even being made or produced in the country.
Joining a celebration where some parts of the country don't even have bread this morning.
So this is it.
Honorable.
So generally, these are the notions. So I think, for me, my general notion is Barrow needs to be serious into what he means. And in terms of security, and I can tell you the last word, if only Barrow
You've given me 100 last words. This has to be the absolute last
yeah, this
word.
one is the last. If only Barrow had took the advice that President Jammeh gave him, don't compromise about security. Today, it could have been history. Because our security is borrowed, our security is owned by foreign occupancy, our security is taken. So we only have the attitude of policy makers. But in the real Ghana, we are not in control of this country.
Honorable Almame Jiba, thanks for coming.
Thank you very much.
Honorable Almame Jiba is the National Assembly member for Fonyi Councillor, and you've been listening to Coffee Time with Peter Gomez on Monday, the 17th of February 2025, which means it's the eve of our 60th independence anniversary tomorrow. And I just want to close by wishing one and all a very happy Diamond Jubilee tomorrow. We'll see you back here on Wednesday. Not tomorrow. Tomorrow we are taking a break. Happy celebrations and thanks for listening.
In a world where progress never sleeps, one company stands out as the driving force behind infrastructure and energy solutions. Introducing our fuel company and cement producer, where excellence meets efficiency. Jar Oil. The company have 30 filling stations across the country that are all operating, which includes the recently completed Yarambamba and Old Yundum filling stations. And our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Along the years, Jar Oil introduces importation and distribution of cement in their line of business to diversify and strengthen their operations. Are you a cement retailer? At the moment, Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market. With a focus on sustainability and innovation, we are paving the way for a greener, stronger future. Trust in us to fuel your projects and lay the groundwork for success. We currently produce over 25,200,000 bags per year. As the largest cement producer in the country, Jar Oil also targets to export cement to the neighboring countries like Guinea-Bissau, Guinea-Conakry, and others. Join us on our journey to shape a world where every drop of fuel and every bag of cement makes a difference. Together, we can build a brighter tomorrow.